So welcome everyone to the Launch Your Career 2.0 workshop. This is our summer series. It's our first workshop for the summer, and we are talking about salary negotiation and money management today. My name is Denise Perez-Flores. I'm one of the career counselors from the Career Center, and I welcome you all, and I'm glad to see you here, and I am hoping that we have a really good workshop today. I do plan on having you participate in some breakout rooms. Hopefully we'll be able to manage that pretty easily. Sometimes it takes a little bit of additional effort on our part to make sure that that does run smoothly, and so I hope that we can make that happen today. So here we go. We'll get started with the agenda. Our agenda for today is going to cover those two areas that I just mentioned, so money management and salary negotiation. They can sometimes go hand in hand when we think about our career, what we need out of our career in terms of finances, right, or money, to maintain lifestyles or even to pursue careers, or even pursue different paths. And the salary piece is very important because you're going to need to know how to ask for what you want and what you believe you deserve. And so for the money management piece, we'll cover these four areas: money management, financial well-being, monitoring and tracking, which kind of ties into kind of budgeting. And then we have making money choices, which is a really great resource that I'll share with you. And then the second piece will be then salary negotiation. We got value and worth, negotiation tips, salary negotiation scenarios. That's the piece where I'll kind of break you into those breakout rooms. And then there's a last piece of practice, which I will show you how to use one of our platforms that we have that can give you additional curriculum in terms of when it comes down to negotiation. So the first piece here I'll start with is the money management piece. So money management in general refers to the process of budgeting, investing, saving, and spending with one's finances. So we all kind of have this, bank of money to use at our disposal, and there's different ways that we can use it, and we'll cover a few of those things. Every day, we make choices about how, where, and when we will spend our money, and these choices, they can have a definite, significant impact on our financial life. And I think that finances is very important. It's an important piece of not only, I think, career in general, career development, but as a college student, or even someone who graduated, or even someone who's been in the workforce for 10 plus years and maybe went back to school. It's very important, something that we definitely need. I would say it's one of those things that could be added into the hierarchy of needs for ourselves. Learning to make sound financial choices now will help you establish your professional career and find a home and even put down some roots. So there's some little questions that pop up here on the bottom. Do you spend a lot of money on credit card debt each month? Do you save money regularly? Do you treat yourself to things after a rough week at work? Some of these things tie in not only to what we have at our disposal, but some of the behaviors that go into that, and some of the things that we may do for different reasons related to who we are. And so I will start off with a kind of prompting you all to take a look at where you're at in terms of your finances and yourself. And we'll start after this quote. Money, and I like quotes, so I wanted to provide this quote to you. Money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will never replace you as the driver. So when I look at this quote, it kind of makes me think about how, we have money, it comes and goes, right? But you are essentially in control of that ultimately. Yeah, there's things that happen that can steer that our financial well-being and our financial status on different directions, but ultimately at the end of the day, it will come down to you and what you choose to do with what you have. And I'm hoping this is, I know it's not very big, this is like a baseline quiz, and I'm going to give you some time to answer these questions to see where you're at for yourself. And I will go through each one just to make sure that I am reading those out loud for those who may not have a hard time maybe seeing this. And then I'm going to have you answer that for yourself. So you're going to have to bring out a piece of paper and take down your answers for each of these, and you're going to add these up. Okay, so the instructions are for questions 1 through 11, you're going to select A for always, S for sometimes, or N for never. And then for questions 12 through 15, you're going to select T for true or F for false. And so then when you're done with that, you're going to do your scoring. So what we'll start with is number 1. So as you're going down, maybe link a list from 1 through 15. And for number 1, you're going to choose always, sometimes, or never. And each letter or selection correlates with a number. So for always, you'll get 2 points. For sometimes, you'll get 1 point. And for never, you'll get 0 points, okay? So the first question is, or the first prompt is, I use a budget to help manage my finances. So you're going to put always, sometimes, or never. And you'll put the point number next, the point that is designated for that selection next to that. So I use a budget to help manage my finances. Number 2, I pay my essential bills, rent or mortgage, utilities, etc. on time. You're going to select always, sometimes, or never. Number 3, I save 10% of my income on a monthly basis. Same thing, you select always, sometimes, or never. And the scoring is there for you, so you can add those points to your answer. Number 4, I try to keep 3 months of my income set aside for emergencies. Number 5, I plan ahead for large expenses such as taxes and insurance. And some of these may or may not relate to you right now, depending on where you're at in your life. But it's good to get an idea of where you do stand right now. Number 6, I balance my checking account every month. Number 7, I regularly save for retirement. Number 8, on my credit cards, I never charge more than I can easily pay back. Number 9, I pay my credit card balances off in full each month. Number 10, I track my progress on debts such as auto loans, student loans, mortgages, etc. at least 1 time per year. Number 11, I actively seek out consumer finance information either in the news or online. Number 12, I have specific financial goals that I am working towards achieving. And I'll just prompt you again for number 12 for 15, you're going to put true or false. And you'll get 2 points for it being true for you, and you'll get 0 points for it being false for you. So number 12, I'll repeat that one for you, just in case you missed that piece. I have specific financial goals that I am working towards achieving. Number 13, I have checked all 3 of my credit reports within the last 12 months. Number 14, I comparison shop to find the best value for auto insurance. And number 15, at least 1 time a year, I review my savings and investment accounts to determine the best options for increasing my financial return. Now, I know that was a mouthful. There was a lot of questions. I am going to give you a few minutes to tally up your answers for yourself and see what score you came up with. It should be a number. And then we'll go over what those scores mean. So you'll get a total after you add everything up. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to pop into the chat. And does anybody have any questions right now?
Can you tell us again what the score is for sometimes or never? Never
Yes.
is 0, right?
Correct. Yes. For always, you'll get 2 points. For sometimes, you'll get 1 point. And for never, you'll get 0 points.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, true is how many points again? I'm sorry. Oh, for
No,
true.
say it again.
True is how many points again? I'm sorry.
If you mark down true, you get 2 points. If you mark down false, you get 0 points.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And are you able to see my screen? I just want to make sure.
Yes, I'm able to see it, yes.
Okay, just double checking with you. I want to make sure.
Okay, cool. Oh, thank you.
I'm glad to see you all are taking note of this. This is kind of interesting thing. You know, when I looked at this for myself last night, I know there's some things that I kind of maybe never do, or maybe only sometimes do. But it's good to kind of gauge to see where you're at. To see then if you can see where you're at, then you see how you could move forward for better money management or better financial well-being. So this is kind of part of the reason why that I had this quiz in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna put my gallery on real quick. Is anybody need more time? You can either put it in the chat that you need more time, or you can just say it out loud. Okay. I'm going to assume that you guys are somewhat ready to go, and if not, you'll see the scores right now. So I'll show you that. All right, here we go. So here we go. Here's the scores. So now I want to make sure that you all don't don't judge yourself too harshly. You know, if you fall into maybe a lower score range than you would like to be in, I think that this is a good way for you to get a good indication of where you're at and like where you can grow from and where you can maybe improve. So if you got a score between 26 and 30, this range suggests that you are handling your finances very well, and you know, keep up the good work. That you might not need additional information or support in that area. 21 to 25, the score range suggests that you are successful at managing some aspects of your financial life. However, you may want to investigate opportunities for increasing your savings or reducing your debts. From scoring 16 to 20, this score range suggests that you are probably missing some items that can either improve your current situation or protect you from future hardship. And you may benefit from talking to a credit counselor, developing a step-by-step approach to managing your money. And then the last score range is from 0 to 15. This score range suggests that you need to improve your money management skills to protect yourself and your finances. And think about taking a financial education course or talking with a credit counselor or to help learn ways to successfully, effectively manage your finances. And there's different places that you can get this information, not only online, but in your institutions where you do your banking. If you have a credit union, I believe that the financial aid office on campus, I think that they also have someone who does a lot of financial literacy pieces now. So there's a lot of different places where you can get some information and some help. And if you're someone who wants to need some guidance on helping to find those resources, we can definitely help you look through that and find some resources for you. I was reading up on some things last night, and I found this information. All my resources and references are at the end of my PowerPoint, so you can always look back at these in your leisure. But I found this really interesting little table, and it's called the 4 Elements of Financial Wellbeing. And if you look at the little graph or table, you'll see that the security and present, so you see the top present and the left hand security, which may mean that there's control over your day-to-day, month and month-to-month finances. So if you are if you have financial well-being, or if you would like that, then there's that need to then have that control, right? And you have that. And so taking more control, if you need to have more control over those day-to-day, month-to-month finances, looking at them more closely, making sure that you're monitoring them and tracking them, can bring you more of this. And in the future, you may then have a capacity to absorb the financial shock. So if you are secure in the present and you have control over it now, later on you have a lesser impact of it affecting you in a bigger way, and in a negative way. Also with the present and freedom of choice, financial freedom to make choices to enjoy life. So when you do have that security and you do have that control, then you can lessen the chance that you can feel like you're more weighed down by your burdens of finances, right? So financial freedom, I think, is something that many of us may seek. We may not even think we have it, and maybe you do. Or maybe you can do more to help increase that in your life. And so that also then in the future, having that financial freedom, you can then be on track to meet your financial goals. So if you start to plan now, take control now, in the future, then you can essentially be able to have more financial freedom to then buy that house that you want, or take those vacations that you want to have with your family. So I'm going to prompt you all right now for a couple minutes and ask you, what does financial well-being mean to you? Now, I gave you this little graph or table, and I want to prompt you to see what it means for you. So whoever wants to participate in that, please feel free to do so. Someone put in here, it means peace of mind. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I definitely feel better when I feel like I have more control over finances. And it does create that, sense of peace within yourself to know that this part of your life is under control, and that you have control over it. Anybody else want to share? Give you guys a little bit longer. Not losing sleep over how I'm going to pay my bills or eat every day. That one right there, I think for me hits home. I'm someone who, I would say, from 2002, when I was, first entering college, to about 2016, So that whole time right there, I never made more than about $13 an hour. And I had my degree and I went back to school again, and struggling to, you know, figure out how you're going to pay your bills and pay debt back. Definitely something that I've lived with a lot, and the stress of it could be very debilitating in a lot of different ways. And I think that, you know, I guess in my mind, you know, keeping at the forefront of what your goals are for yourself to help you push through to get there can be very helpful. I know that it can feel very daunting in the process of that. But I feel like, at least for me at this point now, you know, I'm not in that place anymore. I worked very hard to get to where I'm at so I can have more financial freedom, and then also more financial well-being. It took a while, but definitely it's something that you can strive towards. And I honestly believe that if you manifest that for yourself, that you can reach that. And so, but definitely can resonate with what you're saying. I see Renene's not. Renene, you're having some challenges with your audio? Let's see. Someone else here put creating generation wealth for my family. Yeah, I think that if you put that goal in your mind, whatever it is, you might not get it tomorrow, but you may get it in a year from now or 6 months. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, you know, manifesting, putting out there what you want. And if what you want is to create that wealth for your family, then that's something I think that you should put at the forefront, and then take those actions to get there, no matter how long it's going to take, right? And then getting that support that you need through the process. Someone else put financial freedom to me is having a steady income that allows me to pay bills and save, not one or the other. And I'm thank you for sharing that. You know, it's another way to look at this whole thing here, that practicality of it, right? It means security to achieve your goals, and then planning ahead on setting money aside for bills and still having money for yourself. I think education, getting a degree, does not equal financial security or financial well-being, but it definitely can elevate you, right? If I did not have my educational experience and of course my work experience, I wouldn't be able to have the job that I have and the security that I feel like I have now versus before. So yeah, I did go to school longer and I did change career paths, but I got to a place where I can feel that way that I wanted to feel, you know, and it may take some time. But I think it's definitely possible with the right mindset and support, of course. So thank you all for sharing that feedback there. Okay, all right. So some factors that create financial well-being. There's a couple of things that I'll bring up that I was mentioning in the beginning. These are some things that come into play for us. You know, social and economic environment. What's around you in your family and community? Now, sometimes we don't have control over some of these things. And that's just, I think that's the reality that I don't want to ignore that because it's there. I think that it is a piece and it's a factor that affects us, right? Our personality and attitudes, how you tend to think, feel, and act can also play a part in your financial well-being, along with decision context, how a particular decision is presented. So not only outside of yourself, but for yourself and within yourself. And then knowledge and skills. So what you know and what you know how to do. So if you want to get that job that pays $80,000 a year, what do you need to get to that place to make that income that you want to have? And how much time is it going to take? And how much sacrifice, I'll say sacrifice too, because I think there's sacrifice that goes into this, that you're going to have to also take and do in order to get there. And then what's available to you. Now, if you're someone who may live in an area that, there isn't a lot of opportunities in terms of work, could you find another way around that by maybe looking at opportunities outside of that? Maybe there's a really great job opportunity in another state, and maybe you don't want to do that, but maybe if you do that, you can build your financial stability up by moving somewhere else. Maybe the cost of living is lower, and maybe the job still pays the same as something here, and maybe you get that job, and then maybe you come back, and you'll feel a little bit more financially stable because of that move you made at that time. I've heard many stories like that when people have done stuff like that, and the outcome has been positive for them. And what other opportunities are out there for you? If you need income to offset some of the costs, maybe you're in school, scholarships are out there. There's grants, there's fellowships, taking on an internship or part-time job. all these different ways that you can use, not only gain experience in something, but then also gain some income from that process as well. Behavior, so what you actually do. Now, I think that I'll use myself. In 2010, I remember I was at the bottom of my rope. I was just down in the dumps, depressed. I'm not gonna make it. Nothing's gonna happen. And you know, I had some very negative thoughts, and I could have stayed there and did nothing about it, and I probably would have got nowhere because I didn't make any movement. But fortunately, I had enough support around me, and even within myself, a little bit of determination left to push myself to not do that. And I think that because of that, you know, I was able to push through and get to a different place. So your behavior also has a lot to do with it. And then your personal financial well-being. How satisfied are you with your financial situation? And if you're not satisfied, then what can you do to change that? And if you are, then you can focus your attention on another part of your life. So a couple other sections here about the money management piece, and then we'll dive into the salary negotiation piece. But as you work toward managing your money more effectively, I would suggest that you keep these steps in mind. And one of the things here at the top, of course, plan ahead. I'm thinking that the majority of you planned out your classes, right? You're in school, you want to get this degree, and you have to plan your classes out. You got to figure out what you got to take to get towards completing that degree. If you would take some of those steps into that planning process that you use for, and then use this as an example, for completing that degree towards other things in your life, like your money management, this could be helpful for you. And I had found some information last night, planning ahead. So some things that you can do is write down your goals. What is your goal? Well, I want to buy a Lamborghini. Okay, if that's your goal, then what are you going to do to work towards getting that, right? It's important to be realistic as well. So can you get that Lamborghini? Maybe you want it next year. Maybe that might not happen. I'm not sure, right? We can't predict the future. Maybe that will happen, you know, in 20 years. I don't know. Is it something you really want for yourself? So be realistic as well, of course. Will you be more likely to be able to afford a $200,000 house or one that costs $100,000 or less? So review your goals and objectives regularly to see if you're on track. And then create that budget. And I'm going to show you some budgeting, a resource for you to look at that has to do with career and then budgets that you will probably, I think you'll like it. I think a lot of people that I show like that resource that I show them. But make a plan for how you will spend your money and then save it. And I do believe that if you make it a habit to plan, you make it a habit to plan and then also to budget, that will become something that you do. It's a normal thing. Keep good records. So I'm someone in my household that is the person that keeps records of everything. I have spreadsheets with, you know, monthly bills on there, and there's so many things to pay and so many things to move around and keep track of. I have to have something organized like that. So I use an Excel sheet, and it helps me to keep track. Other individuals in my household, it's a little harder for them to do that, so they kind of look to me for that, and I do that, and it does help. Stay insured. So having insurance, whether it's for your car, for your health, for your home, is really important. I think I had one car accident the year before last, I think, or last year, and then I had someone hit my car after I got my car fixed. And I just didn't take it back because I had just gotten my car out because I got hit on the freeway. I have insurance. It was over $4,000 of damage, and I only had to pay a $500 deductible, and the insurance paid for the rest of that bill. If I didn't have the insurance, I don't think I would have been able to fix my car, because I did not have $5,000 to get my car fixed. So it's definitely something I think is important. And the insurance piece comes into play too when we talk about salary negotiation and benefits, and something I'll touch a little bit later. Stay focused. You know, you're earning that degree, you're focusing on what your goal is for yourself, you know, completing that degree and going to that next stage in your life. So you'll need patience and discipline to start your financial plan, and also need focus to follow through with it. So there's a lot of temptation out there to get you, you know, lose focus on your plans and your goals. But it's definitely something that you can keep in your mind, that we'd recommend that you do. And then save more. You may not be able to. I don't think during that time frame I was talking about, when I made, no more than $13 an hour, I couldn't really save. I mean, I guess I could have put a couple of dollars away, but I guess I didn't see the value in that. I'm sure that it would have mattered. But I put every dollar and cent towards bills and debts that I had to repay. So, but it's definitely something you can start. I mean, $1 a day. I have a family member that I live with, and they put $1 a day away. And if they need money in about 12 months, they're gonna have quite a few dollars in their safe, right? So save more and save when you can, and educate yourself. The more you know about money management and financial literacy for yourself, the better educated you're going to be to then apply that to you and your life, and you can reach some of your goals probably a little bit quicker. And then also take time, set aside that time to work on your budget and manage your money. Set aside a little side of time for yourself to do that, because I think it's really important. I'm just gonna check the chat here real quick. Okay. Oh, thank you, Andreas. All right. So this is the budgeting website that I was talking to you all about. I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen for a second so I can go into the website. Go. Whoops. Okay. Can you all see the screen in the internet? Okay, great. I see Catherine, I see your face on here, and I see you shaking your head, so I'm kind of gonna use you as my marker. Okay, so I don't know if any of you have seen this before, but this right here is called California Career Zone. And I will say that I learned about this website when I used to work with foster youth. I used to be a mentor and a case manager, and I used to teach life skills. And housing and money management was one of the life skill areas that I used to teach for these foster youth, and they were high school, middle school students. And my boss at the time, she had all these resources ready to go for me to use with the students. And this one I thought was really great. I think it's great for not only younger students, but even adults, because I actually think it's better for adults because it actually has things in it that adults would understand more. But it was great for the youth as well. So if you look right here, you can select an option. So you can select to choose your lifestyle, or you can select to choose to pick your salary. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through, and I'm not gonna go real in depth with this, but I just wanna show you what the outcome is. So if I choose my lifestyle, we're gonna choose a zip code. So let me see here. Someone wanna give me their zip code and I'll use your zip code?
92234.
Okay, 92234. And it may pop up with somewhere near this area if it's not directly there. Okay. So let me go to the next screen. So we're gonna go with this. Oh, Valentina wants me to put this in the chat. Hold on one second. One of our other career counselors, Valentina, she's on here too. She wants me to put this link in the chat for you all. So I'm gonna do that. There you go. And it's on the PowerPoint as well, if you have the PowerPoint. There we go. So you guys can click on that if you want to. But let's go through here. We'll go back to, all right. So, 92344?
92234.
92234. Yeah. Oh, 92234. Okay. So, who was speaking? Who was that again? What was your name?
Braulio Castillo.
Braulio?
Yeah, Braulio.
Braulio. Nice to meet you. Do you wanna play along with me here?
Yeah, sure.
So if we do housing cost, you go ahead and pick one of these, and we'll see what the cost comes up and see if it looks like it's an accurate cost.
All right. Well, I live with my parents, so.
So want to choose this one? We'll choose this one.
Yeah.
All right. So while there's often no cost for this, you may be asked to help cover costs at least, pay for items you consume. Let's assume that we'll try to do 20%. So would you say 224 is an accurate enough number right now to use?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go to the next section. And utilities. So what utilities should we choose for you?
I would say internet and phone.
Okay. So we'll go internet, and then we'll do phone. So that's about $80. Does that sound accurate, or do you think it costs a little bit more than that?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Okay. So we'll go to the next line. So food. Now this gets interesting because I know for me, I like to eat out a lot. I like to go to restaurants, and I haven't been out to restaurants, but I've been doing like, deliveries and stuff like that. But for you, so what would you want to choose for this one?
The first one. I mostly eat at home.
Okay. So 150, does that seem about right for you?
No, that would probably be like 250 or 300 because we eat a lot.
I would agree. I feel like that the numbers on this for me are a little low based on my budget. But yeah, it's one of those areas where I think it's a little bit higher. So this is like entertainment. I think over the last few months, if we've been at home and not going out, we haven't maybe spent a lot of money in this area. But what do you think for you typically might be the way you spend for your entertainment?
Well, currently with our current situation, I don't go out at all, but I usually would say once a week.
Okay, so once a week. We'll just put that one there. $100, does that seem realistic?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're gonna go to clothing. Do you buy clothes often?
I buy clothes like once or twice a year.
Oh, okay.
Well, I
so
mean,
you
once or every other year, sorry.
Oh, wow. So you don't spend a whole lot of money on this area.
No, but when I do, I will spend like $200-300.
Okay. So should we put maybe buy a new outfit every few months, and like we'll just see what it comes out to? So it might be $50 on total for the year or something. So we'll say maybe, we'll just put $50. Maybe put like $100 maybe. Oh, monthly cost might be more like 20. Let's just do 25. Yeah. And then we got transportation. Where do you fall for this for yourself?
I own a car. Yeah, but no loan.
All right, so we'll do that. 220. Does that sound about okay?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not paying for it anymore, but yeah.
Okay. So these are a couple things that go into having a car: insurance, gas, trips to the mechanic. So this may be more or less. All right, we're almost done. So health insurance, where do you fall into that?
The first one.
Okay. All right. So you may or may not get sick often, and so the cost depends on what happens and when it happens and how much that cost will come out right on a bill. Right here it says 57. Would you say that you want to leave this number here? You want to take it off?
I'd say more like 100.
Okay, let's do that. We're almost done, you guys, with this. I want to take you guys through this so you can see what it was like. Education costs. So where do you fall for this one? Where do you fall in line in this one?
I received some financial aid, but I don't think I'll have any debt after I graduate.
Okay. So this one here, nope. This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Just put that there. And then savings?
I think I'd save like around 10 to 15% of what I make.
Okay. So we'll put 10. All right. So at the end of that, it says here, based on your responses, you will need to have a job where you take home $1,352 a month, or at least $16,227 a year when you include taxes. So then it gives you a breakdown of everything, and then you can also make changes or add items here. So with this option that we chose, it shows you what you'll need to have for the current lifestyle that you currently have. And then at the bottom here it says to find out what jobs might support your lifestyle, click on the button below. So if this was a salary that said $60,000, it's going to show those occupations versus this one. So, and not all occupations or jobs are in this database, but you'll get a good idea of what what occupations could fall into here. Now, for you, I don't know if your plans in the future are to move out on your own. This will definitely change in that scenario, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So your scenario, and all of your scenarios are different. Everyone's scenario is different. So you'll have to take into consideration what yours is and what you want it to be as well. So if you want to do this as like an estimate of what you would need, then you'll need to look at that. And then in terms of taxes, you know, you think you're going to bring home this much, and then you bring home like, you know, $1,200 less. So think about that as well, because that it does make a difference, you know, in terms of how much you're actually going to have for the month. So I'm going to go ahead. Thank you for participating with me with this. No problem. Does anybody have any questions about this website? Obviously, I showed you just a very brief overview of it. No?
I have a question.
Yeah, Shelly?
I noticed at the end at the bottom of the screen it says view occupations. So if you clicked on that, it would show different occupations that would fit within that income.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that right here you'll have to decrease this for the filter to get it closer to that number there. I don't know if you see me moving that there.
Yes.
Filter it there. I think that will. So it looks like in the occupations that are in here, no results were found. Now, obviously, I didn't make this website, so I'm not sure how accurate that is based on the website itself. But you can look through the occupations that pop up and see if that is in fact lines up with that. But it looks like there's 0 from where I had. But it was at 106,000, so it was showing a big range, and I don't know why it did that. But yeah. But typically, I'd seen it where you can actually see the occupations. But you can play around with it and see if you can if it shows it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. And another piece of this, there is a guide, and I have the link on there for you all on the PowerPoint, developing a budget. So there's a guide here. Here's an overview of the guide, and you can take yourself through that guide just to give you some more insights into budgeting as well. So that's the one resource that I wanted to show you for sure. And California Career Zone, you can also explore careers in that as well. So let me get out of here, and I'm going to go back into the PowerPoint. All right. Can you all see the PowerPoint? All right. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to dive into salary negotiation. And I will start off with saying that if there's anybody here who wants to, maybe one person want to share any experience that they've had with salary negotiation for themselves?
Unfortunately, I've never felt brave enough to negotiate, which is why I'm attending this.
Okay. I think confidence plays a huge part in that. I think, as I mentioned in my interview strategies workshop, confidence is so important, and it's something that I think we have to build up within ourselves, and to know that, you know, I think to feel confident in our worth and who we are, and to say, you know what, I think I deserve this, and I'm going to ask for it. And if I don't ask for it, you know, then what's going to happen if I don't? What's the worst going to happen if you don't ask, right? Or what's the worst going to happen if you do ask? I'm sorry. And if you don't ask, then you just don't get it. But we'll see if I can help with some of the tools and some strategies to help you with this piece. So salary negotiation is a discussion between yourself and a representative of your current or prospective company that aim to help you secure a higher salary, or a salary that you are wanting to have. And with this brief description, it says between yourself and a representative, or or the actual manager. So representative could be from HR, and then also there could be the hiring manager themselves, and that's maybe your direct boss. So depending on the company, you'll have to negotiate with different people, depending on where the company's process is. And it doesn't matter if you're a long-time employee or a new hire. If you feel that your salary isn't enough, you should feel empowered. Shelly, I'm going to empower you to negotiate in order to get what you deserve. It's important to understand that negotiating your salary is perfectly normal part of the employment process. And I would say that employers expect it. So they're actually expecting you to, negotiate in some way. So they won't be surprised if you're saying, I want to negotiate my salary. And that getting the salary you deserve is part of advancing in your career as well. Another quote here for you, charge what you're worth and don't apologize. I was looking for quotes about, salary negotiation, and I saw this, and I'm like, I like that. Charge what you're worth and don't apologize. And I've been told that many times by many different people when I felt like I shouldn't ask for something that I want.
I'd like to share something. I was told one time to never take the first offer that you're given, because it obviously means that they have some wiggle room. So I've always been told to like ask for not a whole lot more, but something reasonable.
Yeah, I think there's different scenarios that can play out, and one of the scenarios can be that that you going in with that mindset of, I'm not going to take the first offer, and there's different, like I said, there's different scenarios that will make you think that, and there's other scenarios where you'll be like, well, they already told me up front that there's no room, and you can still try. And I'll tell you a couple of those things when we get to towards the end of the presentation. But one of the things I want to just mention real quickly is for you to think about, what do you value and what's your worth? So what do you value from a job offer? What are you looking for? Are you looking for getting a job with a company who's going to reimburse you for your tuition for a master's degree? Are you looking to get training and professional development and certifications paid for? Because some of those certifications out there, they can be pretty expensive, thousands of dollars. Mentoring, coaching, are you looking for someone to provide that, or for that to be provided for you within your company? Do you need childcare expenses covered? Do you want someone to work somewhere where they have childcare available? You want some to work somewhere where they have a health and fitness perks, so maybe they have a gym or they have discounts on gym memberships. Do you want flexibility? Is hours and location extremely important to you and you're not willing to budge on that? So I think knowing where your values lie when it comes to a job offer is extremely important. That way you know what you are intending before you go into that discussion. So know what those things are for yourself. And then your worth. How many years experience do you have? What is your background? Your skills, your qualifications. What do you have not only that is directly applicable, but also what is transferable? Compare your qualifications to those working in other companies. What are they making for the same qualifications that you have? And then market value. Know what the market value is based on location, size, and type of company. A job, where the cost of living is higher than another place, they may pay you a little less in a place where the cost of living is a little less to match that cost of living in their area, right? So you got to know those things. Some other tips here, and I'm not going to go into a real lengthy overview of these because I want to dive into those scenarios, at least for that participation piece, but have a salary range rather than a single figure. So I think that as the student or alumni who was just speaking right now, have a salary range rather than a single figure. So I think having that range for yourself, and I'll show you at the end a couple of things you can do to kind of get that range for yourself and find out what that is. Don't sell yourself short. So if you have a number in mind or a range in mind for yourself, and have that confidence to know that you're doing it for those reasons, for what you know you are worth, and not because you think that you don't deserve it or that they're not going to maybe give you what you want. Practice your pitch at least once before an actual negotiation. So you can practice this with your family members. You can practice it with us in the Career Center. I've had students where I've met with them and we've gone over the scenarios and they've gotten a little more confidence in what they know they're going to do and say because of the conversation that we've had. And then understand your leverage. So like I said, what do you have to offer that you can say, well, I have this, 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 and this, and I have success in this and this, and I have accomplishments in this, and this is my backing, right? This is what's going to help me get that salary that I want because I know what I have. So understand what you do have to offer. And then there's some of the just very general questions. And like I said, I have resources and references on this PowerPoint at the end, so you can look more into this. But questions to ask. So if you do get that job offer, what are some questions that you can start the conversation with? Can I negotiate this offer? It's a very straightforward question. And I think that people get nervous or scared about what's going to happen if they ask that. But like I said, employers will expect you to ask. They will be more surprised probably if you don't, because this is very common. People do ask. Besides the base pay, what other benefits are negotiable? So you not only want to know, is the salary negotiable, but any of the benefits that are included in that, are they negotiable as well, and what are they? What's the outlook for salary raises or promotions? So maybe you just want to kind of get a good indication or a gauge on, do they have opportunities for raises or promotions? Is there already something that's set in place? In, like, for example, K through 12 in school districts, they have different steps, and you move through the steps over time or based on qualifications, and they're already preset. So in some places they have that, in some places they don't. So it's always good to ask. And then, can I get the salary offer in writing? It's good to get that so you can see a layout for yourself to look over to see if it is the right fit for you, if they have all the boxes checked for you, and if there's some things you want to ask about, and you just have that conversation and have it be open, and it's you know, you're coming to an agreement with each other, and you're going to have that contract with each other. So you know, it's an equal partnership, or it should be. And so you want to see, is this the right thing for me? If is it the right thing for them? And can we work together to get what we both want out of this? I wanted to do the breakouts, but I don't think I have enough time. So I'm just going to go through the scenarios, but I want to see if anybody wants to give their intake on this. So I get presented with scenarios from students, and I'm like, okay, let me see how we can work through this, because there's different scenarios that come up. So here's a question. You're in a third round interview for a job at a company you like, but a firm you admire even more just invited you in. Suddenly, the first hiring manager cuts to the chase. As you know, we're considering many candidates. We like you, and we hope that the feeling is mutual. If we make you a competitive offer, will you accept it? So if you want to chime in on how you think you would want to respond to this, or how you think you should respond to this, or if you can give advice to someone how you think they should respond to this. Is that Jasmine? Is that you speaking? I'm sorry, it's kind of low.
Okay, are you able to hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Yes, thank you.
Okay, sorry. So what I was suggesting, like they're saying that they want to make a competitive offer, will you accept it? Maybe asking for a actual copy of the offer. That way you can see everything thorough, because sometimes under pressure you can get nervous, and you might, yeah, the offer might be good, but all the other stuff is not going to be as like what you want. So just asking for a copy of it, and asking that you can have a day to look over it, and then you'll make your decision.
I like how you said that. Give yourself that time and not feel like you're put in this pressure position where you have to make the decision right then, because they'll want to do that, right? And they'll want to see what your response is going to be to that. But I think that you gave some really good tips on how you could respond. Thank you. Someone said, if it's a competitive offer, absolutely. So if someone already knows, so this is a good thing to think about. If you already know what you're looking for, and it's like laid on the table for you, and you already know ahead of time, okay, this is what I want. It could be one of those situations where you're like, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and actually I maybe want this. Or you say, you know, can I have until tomorrow, you know, to make this decision? I want to have some time to look over it, like Jasmine had mentioned. So there's a lot of different directions to take, and it's going to be up to you, you know, to make that decision. Someone said, I would choose the firm I admire because personally I would rather work at a place that would advance my personal goals. So let's see their value coming in there. And so someone would rather work for somewhere that they would prefer to work for rather than getting a competitive offer. And that's something that comes into play for you personally and professionally. So taking all of these things into consideration are very important. What's competitive to, someone had said, what's competitive to, you know, any of us may not be competitive to them. That's a good point. You must see or know the offer. It's a very good point. Yes. We will go through one more of these scenarios, just so we can have one more. Oops. Here we go. So you received an offer for a job you'll enjoy, but the salary is lower than you think you deserve. You ask your potential boss whether she has any flexibility. And I think the response is, we typically don't hire people with your background, and we have a different culture here, she responds. This job isn't just about the money. Are you saying you won't take it unless we increase the pay?
I would say not necessarily. It's nice to know if you are able to move up a little bit more at the beginning.
I also think at the end of the day, you have bills to pay and a family to be responsible for. So it has to financially make sense.
Yeah, thank you. Is it Chantel? Chantal?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I think that was something I didn't mention earlier, but sometimes you get in situations where you're like, like you said, especially going on right now with COVID, with the COVID situation, a lot of people lost jobs and there might be these moments like might come up like this, or in general, right? So it is sometimes, you have to think about what's important to you, what's the top of your list, your priority list and your values list, and what you need for yourself. Someone said I would need to reconsider my finances to see if it would fit. However, I really like the company and think I would be a great fit to the team. And I like how you mentioned that. That goes back to giving yourself that time to review an offer and see if it would fit for you. Is Lily, are you going to say something? I saw you unmute.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
So with the second scenario, they just don't need you, basically. Like the first one, they know you have the skills and they want you. So that's why you can make the offer. Like, I want more money. With this situation, with the second one, you don't. They don't care. If you don't accept the offer, they don't care. They can hire someone else. So those are the things that we have to be looking, like what you can offer and if they want you. So that's kind of like what I saw in that
scenario. Yeah, I think that when I read this, and every time I reread it right now, I see different like tones coming out. I see different perspectives on it, and we all will have that different perspective on it. But that's another perspective I think is a valid perspective as well.
Yeah, and the last part is like, it make you feel bad. Like, oh really? Like, this is the only way that you're going to do this job. It's like making you feel bad. It's a different tone that I wouldn't take that job. I don't care. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
I love the passion in there. Yeah, no, thank you for contributing that comment as well. Okay, I'm just gonna wrap up this. I have a couple more slides for you. Just some things to think about, some rules to apply in negotiation process. Don't underestimate the importance of likability. One of the things that I was reading about, people will go to fight for you if they like you. And a lot of times that can happen, right? Anything you do in a negotiation that makes you less likable, though, can reduce the chances of the other side that it won't work out for you. So some things to think about, ask for what you deserve without seeming greedy, pointing out deficiencies in the offer without seeming petty, and being persistent without being a nuisance. There's this happy medium that you got to play in, and I think that practicing that, and I'll show you one of our website links that we have for our platform, for you can kind of get some more tips, and practicing that to see if something that you're going to say to the employer, if you're not sure about, is see how that might play out if someone hears what you would say and see what their perspective might be. Because you might think it'd be something you would say is okay, and someone else might not see it that way. Just how we looked at the scenario and we all saw it differently, right? And then the second one here, help them understand why you deserve what you're requesting. So it's not just enough for them to like you, but then you have to go into that piece where you're proposing something to them, but now you have to back that up. So you don't just want to state what your desire is, but you also want to back it up with some concrete facts and some information and some details about why you're asking for something. The next thing is understand the person across the table. So are you speaking to the hiring manager who's going to be your boss? Are you speaking to an HR representative who may be, administrative or HR assistant or a technician, someone who's just managing, getting you onboarded into the system? They may be in between person as well. So understand who you're negotiating this with, and that it may take time if you're going between someone. Also understand their constraints. Companies, they may like you, they may think you deserve everything you want, but they may still not give it to you. This may be because they have certain constraints, and some of the constraints can be salary caps. I know we have some some budget cuts going on right now. So there may not be feasible for them to give you what you're looking for. Also, your job in this process is to figure out where they're flexible and where they're not. So there's a little bit of some, of course, research to go take care of for yourself, and also for you to do a little bit of investigation about who is this person you're speaking with, and then what is this process looking like so far. Be prepared for tough questions. There's things that may come up that you may not expect in terms of tough questions that you kind of want to plan ahead for. So some questions that may come up, do you have any other offers? They could ask you that. If we make you an offer tomorrow, will you say yes? And those are those pressure situations that they might try to put you in, where you still can go back to your own way of negotiating and put it back and take control of the situation. Are we your top choice? So you can go back to, I think one of the attendees mentioned them taking control of the situation by saying, you know what, I would like some time to look over this. I need a day to get back to you. How much time do I have to get back to you? Putting that ball back on your court so you can then have that time. Consider the whole deal. We may want a certain salary, but if the salary isn't exactly in terms of the money piece, what we were looking for, what else are you getting? Are you getting a pension? Are you getting paid vacation? Are you getting childcare paid for? Are you getting healthcare benefits, and you have a real deductible when you go to the doctor's office? So there's a lot of different things that come into play that represent the whole deal and not just the money itself. And then and this is one of the things that I read that was like a suggestion: don't negotiate just to negotiate, because sometimes some people may want to just negotiate to see if, because they said that someone told them that they should. But if everything lines up with exactly what you had intended for, is there really a need to negotiate at that point? And then, of course, think through the timing of offers. Sometimes you may get multiple offers at once. You may have to play some back and forth with one company to hold off so you can get another offer, or you want to see what their competing offers are. So those are very, situational. So like I mentioned, everyone's situations are different and the scenarios are different. So definitely, if that's something that you come across, throughout your job search, and as a student or alumni, you can always reach out to us during those processes. And the last thing here, do your research and know the market. These are some great websites: payscale.com, salary.com, glassdoor.com. You can look into the salaries, average salaries, compare salaries, and look at the different areas in which you would get a certain job. Glassdoor, you can look at the companies and see what other people may have posted as salaries they have gotten on a position. It's also, Glassdoor is also a great place for you to look at and see what companies, employees either have worked there or are currently working there, what they've gone through in interviews, and different things like that. And the last thing there, the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics Occupational Outlook Handbook is a great place for you to look at market value, see what the outlook is for a certain occupation and career path, and you can get some more information about kind of your value there as well in the path that you choose. Oh, and this last thing here. So this is really important. This is our big interview software that we have. We have a subscription to this, and you are able to access this on our website. The link is there on the PowerPoint. I don't know if Valentina, if you're still on here, do you want to put the link in there for them? I think you're still on there.
Sure.
Thank you. So in this big interview, you can also not only learn about interviewing and practice interviewing, but you can also learn about negotiation. There's a negotiation curriculum, which is amazing. I was re-looking at it again today, and there's the basics, there's strategy, and then there's techniques. And I think they're really great. It's really great advice that you can then take into consideration for yourself when you're thinking about doing a negotiation for a salary or a job offer, sorry.